Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Question Block. And last week I asked, what are your first Nintendo memories? So I will be discussing the responses in this video, as well as giving some of my own Nintendo memories that kind of relate to these. So let's go ahead and get started. So Mario Simpson 1 said, playing SNES with Mario All-Stars plus World for the first time at someone's house, and eventually owned one with Yoshi's Island during the mid-90s, played other SNES games like the Donkey Kong Country trilogy and Super Mario Kart later on, got the Nintendo 64 with Mario 64, and the rest was history. But yeah, like, I definitely could see a lot of fun memories there with the SNES, since there's a lot of great games on the system. And I actually grew up with a couple SNES games, even though I was born a few years after it was discontinued. Like, I still, like, grew up playing, like, Super Mario World and a very fun, underrated game called Zombies Ain't My Neighbors that I really liked. So, like, my parents actually, like, had some cartridges and things that I was able to play them. But yeah, definitely really enjoyed Super Mario World as a kid, and is partially one of the reasons why I like Mario so much today, as well as like a lot of the older Mario games. Like, I definitely appreciate like a lot of NES and SNES games now, like since I've been playing a lot of these older Mario games since I was younger. So yeah, I could definitely see a lot of fun memories there. And then another one that you also mentioned, Yoshi's Island, that's definitely one of the best SNES platformers, and I feel like that game is also great as well. But yeah, a lot of fun memories with the SNES and the Nintendo 64 as well. So Zayman2001 said, my earliest Nintendo memory was when I played Super Smash Bros. Melee with my uncle and siblings. I always picked Mario, and that's what led me to play Mario games and become a Mario fan. My first Mario game was Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. That game will always hold a place in my heart. Yeah, while I didn't play Melee as a kid, like, I did play Brawl sometimes, and, like, there's definitely a lot of fun memories that come out of the Super Smash Bros. Series, and I feel like how you kind of found out about the Mario games through Melee, through the Smash series, I actually kind of found out about a lot of series that I like today, like Kirby. Like, when I saw the Kirby characters, when I first played Brawl, I eventually tried out Kirby, and, like, later on with, like, Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate, like, with the Xenoblade characters, I eventually, like, tried out the Xenoblade games, and Earthbound as well. So, yeah, I can definitely relate to, like, trying out games because of Smash. And also with Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, I really enjoyed that game as a kid as well. I actually, like, borrowed it from one of my friends to play it, and before I actually got, like, the game myself a few years ago, but I really enjoyed that game, and definitely one of the best Mario RPGs, and definitely one of the best Mario & Luigi games. I really enjoyed that, and I've been playing through the remake recently, and it's actually surprisingly good. Like, I have heard some problems about it, but I feel like it is a fairly good remake, despite the fact that it was kind of unnecessary. So J to the P Moreno said, getting Mario 64 DS and playing through it on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. It was my first ever Mario game, and the reason Yoshi became my favorite Mario character. Mario 64 DS is definitely one of the most nostalgic games for me. Like, it's really what kind of partially got me into mainline Mario games and 3D Mario, because it was actually my first 3D Mario game. Like, I played it, like, alongside New Super Mario Bros. DS, since I got both games around the same time. So it was kind of my first exposure to, like, a 3D platformer, or, like, a 3D action game in general. So it kind of, like, is what helped me get, like, kind of adapted to that formula, to that genre in general. So, like, I just loved playing that game a lot. Like, the multiplayer mode was really fun, the mini-games were great, as well as the mini-games on New Super Mario Bros. DS, and I just really enjoyed it. A lot of the time as a kid, I was just kind of, like, going everywhere and exploring on, like, Super Mario 64 DS. It was pretty fun. And that's interesting that you played through it on a cruise ship. That's, like, a pretty interesting experience. Like, I remember, going on a cruise as a kid, and I'm not sure if I had my DS with me, but I did enjoy that experience. I do remember taking my DS on a trip to California that I went on over a decade ago, and I remember like getting the pictures because I had a DSi, like the very low quality pictures on there, but it's pretty nostalgic and it was a pretty fun experience. And Starchronics said, first video game I ever played was New Super Mario Bros. On my Cobalt Blue DS Lite. Download play with my friends on long car rides was the best. Yeah, New Super Mario Bros. Along with 64DS was definitely, like, a pretty nostalgic game for me, as it was one of my first as well. Like, alongside 64DS, these were, like, my two first, mainline Mario games. So it's definitely pretty nostalgic, and I also played that on car rides as well. Like, I remember, like, playing, like, the Mario versus Luigi mode with my friends and with my brother. That was really fun, and I remember giving the game, like, to borrow to my brother, like, when we were on a trip, and I think he beat the game in, like, just a couple hours, and he was, like, 4 years old at the time. I was kind of impressed, but we're both, like, pretty good at the game and everything, but yeah, it was pretty fun. And Ultramon said, I'm a youngin', so my first Nintendo memory was getting a 3DS in Super Smash Bros., and it was really fun. I had that game for years. Another memory I have is getting Pokemon X, my first ever Pokemon game, my introduction to the series. In that game, my starter was Chespin, and it holds a special place in my heart, as it's my first ever Pokemon. Yeah, like, even though the 3DS I kind of got, like, a little bit later, I still have a lot of childhood memories with the 3DS, because I was still, like, fairly young when I got it, but, well, it's not one of my first memories. I definitely really enjoyed a lot of the games that I played on it, and Pokemon X is definitely underrated. Like, I definitely enjoyed that game a lot, and I can understand, like, having, like, you having a lot of memories with that game, since it definitely is pretty fun. And Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS was pretty fun as well. Like, I remember playing that game alongside the Wii U version, and I also, like, used that feature where they had, like, a controller that was compatible with the one on the Wii U. That was always, like, a pretty interesting feature that I used a lot, like, when having a lot of friends over. So, yeah, I'm glad you had some, fun memories with the 3DS. So, Tony McPlummersaurus, Device Lover, said, playing Mario Kart Double Dash in a church from Kansas as a kid. So yeah, like, I definitely have some memories of Double Dash too, like, Mario Kart games, playing Mario Kart games as a kid is definitely pretty fun, like, with friends and everything. But yeah, with Double Dash specifically, that was actually the only GameCube game that I remember playing as a kid, because one of my friends had it, and I remember going over and playing it and kind of seeing the GameCube controllers for the first time. I thought they looked really weird at first, but once I used them, they felt amazing. Like, feeling the rumble on the GameCube controllers, I was like, wow, this feels really cool. But yeah, I really liked playing Mario Kart Double Dash with my friends. And also, since you have the memories of playing it in a church, I also have memories of playing some Wii games at a church a long time ago. Like, I played, that's like how I played, like, Smash Brawl a lot, and I also played New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I know I do, like, I own the game since I was a kid, but I also played it there since there was a copy there that I played with some friends and people that I knew. And I think also Mario Party 8 as well. And that was one of my first experiences with Mario Party. So that was definitely pretty fun. So yeah, as AAA said, I remember me and my dad and my mom went to Walmart and we bought a 3DS with New Super Mario Bros. 2 pre-installed. And we went in the car and my dad set it up and all that. Then he played like the first level and a half, the second level, and let me play. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah, like I said before, there's a lot of fun memories to be had with the 3DS. And even though New Super Mario Bros. 2 isn't like the most memorable mainline Mario game, like, I still had a lot of fun memories with it when I was younger. Like, it still is a pretty fun game to play, like, especially, like, if you were younger when you played it and everything. Like, I remember, I think I actually put over 100 hours into the game to get, like the max amount of coins, or, like, over 1,000,000 coins. I forgot, like, how much it was, but, like, I just remember, like, just spending a lot of time, like, just trying to grind for coins. There's, like, that one trick that you can do in the one level, where you have to, like, you can basically get, like, infinite coins and, like, do it over and over. That was pretty fun to just keep pulling off, and, I remember doing that a lot. And then also the DLC as well was pretty fun. Like, even though the base game itself is fairly bland, the DLC was actually pretty good, and it had a lot of fun and creative levels in it. But yeah, New Super Mario Bros. 2, while it's definitely one of the least memorable mainline Mario games, there's definitely a lot of fun memories to be had with it. And the Joka said, I remember when my parents brought home a Wii with Mario Kart Wii back in 2008. You know, that's very similar to, like, some of my early memories with the Wii, since, like, that's around the same time that I got my Wii, and I also got Mario Kart Wii with it as well as Wii Sports. So that was one of my first, like, gaming memories in general, like, with Mario Kart Wii and the Wii. Just, like, playing Mario Kart Wii, like, around that time was just pretty nostalgic. And I definitely played that game a lot with my friends. And I also played, like, Wii Sports a lot with my family, which was another game, like I said, that I got with the Wii. But yeah, pretty nostalgic time. That was around the same time that I got a Wii, like the late 2000s. But yeah. So, I Slay Goblins said, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe on the Game Boy Color. First video game ever. I played the crap out of that game. Never finished the final level. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe is pretty fun. I think it's a pretty underrated release of Super Mario Bros. Since it actually has, like, some extra content and extra things added to it. The only thing that's a bit weird about the game is, like, the screen size for the Game Boy Color and everything, but I'd say it's, like, a fairly good version of Super Mario Bros. But yeah, like, about the thing with never finishing the final level, like, that happened to me a lot in some of the games that I played. Like, I tried playing through a lot of the game, and then got stuck on a particular level or boss and things like that. Like, it's definitely, a thing that happened a lot for me in various games that I played as a kid. So yeah, I can kind of relate to that. So Laz Alt, the Game Boy, said, the first console I ever had was the Wii, and I had the game Rabbids Go Home. It's a pretty good and underrated game, in my opinion, but that's off topic. I remember, that one time I had school early in the morning, but I woke up an hour before I was supposed to go, so I decided to play Rabbids Go Home. I don't know why that moment has just stuck with me. Playing the game early while the sun was rising on an old square 4x3 TV, with my parents still asleep in the other room. Good times. Every time I think of it, I feel nice and comfortable, and I have no clue why is that. So, yeah, like, I definitely have a lot of memories, like, playing some games, like, early in the morning. Like, I used to play my DS before school, and, like, eventually, like, my parents didn't want me to play that early in the morning, but yeah, I could definitely kind of relate to playing games, like, early before school. I don't know why, but, like, I get, like, kind of like how you were wondering that, like, I kind of like, for some reason, I just kind of liked playing it early and everything before I had to do things. But yeah, that's something that I can kind of relate to. I also had, like you mentioned, like, with the, 4x3 TV, I assume it would have been in CRT, but I also had those as well. Like, I had one in my room that I liked. I had, like, a Atari flashback console that was hooked up to it, and I think I also, like, hooked up some of my other, like, consoles that I eventually got to it as well. And, like, my parents also had, like, one in the living room as well. But yeah, I definitely have a lot of memories with those old TVs as well before we got the, like, the flat screen TVs in the early 2010s. But yeah, definitely pretty nostalgic. And N64 Bros said, the original arcade Mario Bros. Was my first Mario game that got me into Mario for life. So yeah, that's an older one there, but I actually kind of have some very early memories seeing that game as well. I can kind of relate to that a little bit, but I remember I went to this place to get my hair cut when I was like very young. I was probably like 3 to 4 years old. But I remember like seeing an arcade cabinet there, and it was likely Mario Bros. Because I remember like like seeing like Mario and Luigi like jumping around the screen, and like that's definitely like one of the first, like one of the earliest like Mario related memories, Nintendo related memories in general that I have. Like that's probably like one of the first times I've ever like seen Mario on something, or at least acknowledged it kind of, or thought about it before. Because I just remember like looking at it and thinking it was interesting, like just like seeing like Mario jumping around on there, like on the demo that kind of replays like before you play the game. I just remember seeing that. I'm not sure if I actually played it because I was pretty young at the time, but I remember seeing it and everything, just like the old pixelated Mario and Luigi, like just kind of on there. But yeah, that's definitely one of my first Mario related memories. I mean, I'm sure I've like seen like Mario on something like when I was very young, but I didn't really like think about it or acknowledge it until that moment. But yeah. So Jude Kerman said, getting my 3DS and experiencing AR cards and face raiders for the first time. Yeah, the AR cards are pretty interesting. Like, not a lot of people talk about them, but they were bundled with like every 3DS system, and you can like do different photos and different things like that. They also had a thing called Photos with Mario that they did like a few years ago. I'm sure it's almost a decade ago at this point, but they had a thing where you could like get pictures and like by scanning or using like a one of the AR cards, you can kind of pose Mario and different things, and I thought that was pretty cool. They bundled them with like, I think they were with like the eShop gift cards. But yeah, that was pretty cool how they did that. And then also Face Raiders as well was pretty fun. Like, I remember like a lot of those like 3DS things, like a lot of the apps that the 3DS was kind of bundled with were pretty fun. And yeah, so those are some of your Nintendo memories, and I kind of gave some of my memories as well. But yeah, definitely a lot of nostalgic things that come from Nintendo's games and consoles over the years, and there's definitely a lot of fun memories that I have. But yeah, so anyways, the next question is, what is your favorite and least favorite thing about the Nintendo Switch? Leave your answers down in the comments. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server if you want to. Goodbye.